Hey guys, it's Jess here with CFit Studio. I wanted to go over some exercises and some things you can do to open the back half of your ankle and really alleviate some of the discomfort that can be caused from plantar fasciitis when people are getting back into the exercise game. So that said, usually what we want to start off with is we want to calm down the fascia and the muscle knots that might be inhibiting our range of motion. So I have a couple of tools with me today. So I've got a tennis ball. You don't have to use a kettlebell, but I like a kettlebell. And if you have a foam roller or a half foam roller, that would be great too. And also, I'm not holding a tissue. This is just a paper towel that I'm using. You can use either a paper towel or a regular towel, and that will be for some help as well. So first, let's go over the calf and the ankle, because if you can open up your ankle and elongate the calf muscle, you can actually alleviate a lot of the stress that you can actually get from the plantar fascia itself, even without directly affecting it. Because if you think about it, if this is constantly tight, when you point your toe, this is activated, which activates this. If you dorsiflex your foot, this activates this elongates, and this has to elongate. So if we can get this open so that you can get into this position without trouble, right? Not necessarily holding my leg up like I am, but this will help. Or this will help this, okay? So first things first, you want to start off easy because sometimes it can be pretty intense. So I'm going to start here now. You can do it this way too. I'm going to work on my own, so in case you can see some of my own negatives, right? So, but you're going to start at the ankle, pretty much at the ankle, not right on the Achilles, but right above it. And first thing you want to do is just kind of want to just rock it back and forth. This right here might automatically be super, super tender for many people. So the goal is to just kind of find out where the trigger is. Now, if you do find a trigger and it hurts, what you want to do is you want to be like, ooh, let's say that hurts right there. You're going to hold it and you're going to relax. You're going to let this work right by itself. About 30 seconds, 45. Now, you can move it too, but you don't want to move it too aggressively because then the body can seize up and it thinks it's going to get injured. All right, so then you're going to scoot up. You're going to work into the next section. This section is right where the Achilles, like one calf muscle, meets with the other calf muscle, where the Achilles begins to really stretch up through the leg. So this is usually really tight on a lot of people. If you want to add tension, you can take the other leg and rest it on top. And then if you see my foot here, now I'm flexing. This is forcing, so what this does is this is putting pressure on the muscle. What flexing the foot does, the foot that's on the bottom, that forces the muscle to stretch along the actual item that you're using. And so sometimes that can make it pretty tender, especially with this added weight. Now, if you're just like hardcore, you can even pick your hips up, start working on shoulder stability, and then that really sucks. All right, but then again, you put down your butt, scoot up a little bit more, ditto. Ooh, that was hard on me. And so like I have a really sharp one right here, and it's going like thump, 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 right, rolling through the muscle. So I'm trying to find the precipice on right which when it's gonna like go over, right? And I'm gonna sit right on that ledge, and I'm gonna breathe. I'm gonna relax my shoulders, and I'm gonna let that thing calm down. It's about to go. Woo. All right, it just went. So now that it went, now I'm going to flex my foot, and that's really digging in, and that just kind of enforces breaking apart that muscle knot. All right, so then you're gonna work all the way up to the knee, right? And you do the same thing. All right, another way to do that is with a kettlebell. Now the kettlebell is really designed to open up the ankle. This is great to help get there and to help begin opening up the calf, lengthening the calf, because this is step one. I'll show you step two in a minute. But this, or if you have anything sharp or a dark black closed cell, they call it a closed cell foam roller, that really sucks. So this, be very gentle here if you're gonna use a kettlebell, and forgive this weird angle on the camera, it's there for a reason, I promise. All right, so anyway, so you're gonna start here. Again, you might automatically like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Some people are so tender they can't even like tolerate the pressure here, in which case that's where we have sticks and you would work into it. But you wanna put here and again, rock side to side, make sure that feels good. Before you move from the spot, try the little dorsiflexion. We like to call this the pin and stretch. You're gonna scoot up a little bit more, put it there, rock back and forth, flex, flex, right? You can do this. Ooh, I don't know if I'd recommend it because it would be a little intense. It's intense on the foam roller, let alone on the handle of the kettlebell. but again, you can work as high as you want, but for the most part, save the foam roller for the calf, like from here, well, basically where my pants leg is, from about here to here. Save that for the foam roller. This area is really tender. It's right where the Achilles really meets with the calf muscles. That's where you want to put the kettlebell, and that's what will help open the ankle. All right, so once that's done, one of the things you want to do is you've just shown the muscle, hey, look, it's not going to get hurt with this pressure. It can release some of that tension. Now let's show it that it can lengthen. So the way I like to describe it with my clients is you have a rubber band and it's got a knot in the middle. And so when you pull the rubber band, this part of the rubber band stretches, this part of the rubber band stretches, but not in the middle because there's a knot, right? So what we just did is we just broke apart the knot, or at least made it a smaller knot, right? So now we need to stretch the rubber band, stretch the muscle to show it that it is not two pieces anymore. It's one piece like it should have been all along, right? Okay, so hence the weird angle. So now I'm standing and I'm going to show you a calf stretch. So even though we will have worked the Achilles, we have mainly targeted the calf and the ankle. So we're going to prop our foot up onto the ledge of a wall. You can even do this while brushing your teeth if you want to incorporate it into your daily life. And what you're going to do is you're going to drive your hips close to the wall, as close as you can tolerate. Now, I'm not wearing a shoe on one foot, and that's for the plantar fasciitis stuff here coming up in a second. But obviously, you would either be wearing shoes or not. But you're going to drive your hip forward, not your chest. You know, a lot of times people go chest, and that's great for the hamstring and the back of the knee. That's lovely. But what we're working on right now is the calf. And so, and if you want to target it, so right here we have two calf muscles. We have the gastroc, and then we have the soleus. And so the gastroc is being stretched right now, and then if I try to bend that knee, but you see I still kept my ankle and my toe position the same, my hip position the same. Now I feel that stretch down here, right? And so I can get pretty close. I've got Gumby ankles. All right, so you would hold this just like you did with the foam roller for about 30, 45 seconds. And then, of course, you would do the other side because you did the other side. All right, now we're going to do a little bit of plantar fasciitis stuff in specifically. So first, I recommend a tennis ball. A lot of times people have lacrosse balls. We here at Sifa Studio prefer lacrosse balls for stuff like for the shoulders. But with the foot and with the plantar fasciitis, it's really, really tender on the bottom of the foot, even without an issue. So start with the tennis ball because you can always go up from there. All right, so you can see the floor. So I'm going to start standing. I'll put the ball beneath my foot, right? And hopefully you guys can see it. And so it's right on the ball of my foot, right beneath that really big joint, right beneath my big toe. And I'm going to just slowly press. Now this is not the plantar fascia, not directly. That's actually towards the back of the foot. But you want to hit, when you're dealing with something like this, you want to hit at the attachment points as well as the muscle itself. Sometimes going on the muscle itself is too tender. So then you're going to roll it towards the center, and that's where it might get a little bit more tender. Roll it a little bit towards the pinky, and you want to try to find it as close to the edge of the foot on either side as you can without that ball shooting out, right? You're going to roll back. So you can even take it and really dig it into the toes. Can you guys see that difference here? Right, so I was here digging into the top part of my foot. Now I'm digging into my toes, in between my big toe and second toe, second and third and fourth. This feels really good. That part doesn't really hurt. All right, so now here's the trick when we get into the plantar. So now we're going to be very gentle. We're going to roll it nice and slow towards the back of the foot. Now we're not putting a lot of pressure here. I'm not leaning my weight on it, right? Because we got to be careful. And I'm going to work it towards the center, and this is where you got to be really careful because this is now actually going to the plantar fascia. So I don't have plantar fasciitis. I'm on right the plantar fascia, which if you can see here, here's my heel, here's my toe. This is right where the plantar fascia is, and I have my foot just curling around the ball naturally. Your foot might not look like it, might be more like this. But try to relax your foot so that you can get into that muscle. And I'm going to just slowly rock it back and forth. Now, if you have the wherewithal, you can push, but I wouldn't recommend. Like, if you got a high pain tolerance, the goal is not to stand on it. You know, don't go stand on it just because you can. We're trying to release the muscle tension. And then I'm going to rock it a little bit to the side as well. Go back to the center. And even without plantar fasciitis, it's pretty tender on me. And then, you know, just for S&G, if you want to get it on the heel, you can, but just be careful that it makes it really easy to shoot out. And then before I'm going to stop, I'm just going to kind of roll it back and forth a little. Feels really good. All right. Give it a last little squeeze up near the ball of my foot just because that feels great. All right, so now let's say, just like what we did with the foam roller with the calf, right? So now we need to teach the plantar fascia, the bottom of the foot, that, hey, it's okay, no problem. So now, hopefully you guys can still see my foot. I'll move the kettlebell for contrast, I think. Okay, so here, I'm gonna take my toes and I'm gonna put it all the way up against the wall. Whatever wall you're using, doesn't matter. And I'm gonna drive the ball of my foot down towards the floor. So if you see, my toes are pretty much sky high while my foot is flat on the ground. Now if I wanna lead up too, try to get a little bit of calf stretch in, that's fine. But what I'm working on right now is I'm working on a stretch, right? And you can see my part of my foot lift up right here, right? This is not directly, again, this is hitting more of the attachment points of where the plantar fascia is, not the actual plantar fascia itself. Really, only way to stretch through that is to lengthen that foot. Okay, so that's that. You can also activate it. A lot of times, fasciitis, or not fasciitis, sorry, itis, inflammation period, can come from when the body isn't used to whatever it is that you're asking it to do, and then it goes, ah, right, and it gets a little inflamed. That's what itis means. So we're going to take a towel and we're going to scrunch it with our toes. And so this is basically a workout for the plantar fascia. And it's taking forever. Right, you time it, you know, or you can choose a long towel like I did. I'm not going to do that because it's going to take a minute. All right, right, and so then you would do the other side. Sometimes that's enough to like, woo, flare it up a little bit. You can cause that, calm it down with gentle rolling there. All right, that's pretty much what I would recommend for you guys to do if you're struggling with some plantar fasciitis as well as some tight ankles. The final thing that I recommend, you know how I showed you guys the calf stretch and I was like, you can do this while you're brushing your teeth. I really do recommend you guys try to incorporate a lot of this lengthening and moving stuff, movement, overall functionality, incorporate it into your day-to-day life. I'm a very active person. I won't lie, I don't enjoy spending my time working on corrective stuff. But without the corrective stuff, I'm gonna injure myself. And then all the stuff that I do enjoy, whether it's workout related, going on a hike, bike ride, for a run with my friends, hanging out, splashing in the pool, doesn't matter. Whatever I wanna do in my life, if I don't take care of my movement, I'm gonna end up hurting myself. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next year, but I will, because eventually my body will be like, I've been telling you and you haven't been listening. So don't discount this just because it's not fun. That said, one of the ways that you can lengthen your plantar fascia in that kind of stretchy way that I just showed you without going, hey, I'm gonna stretch my foot, is if you are ever in a position that requires you to kneel like this, you guys see how my toes are tucked against the ground, my foot's up here. A lot of times people will go like this. Sometimes this is too much for somebody to stretch up here, in which case if it's too much, that means you need to do it more. But you can tuck your toes like this, and this is a big stretch through the toes, and by default, it stretches right in the attachment points of the plantar fascia. I'll sit like this while I fold my clothes, right? Or I have cats, so I'll sit like this while I'm playing with my cats. So I'm stretching my foot all the time. So anyway, the point is incorporate it into your day-to-day. I know this is a really long video. I am very sorry that it got so long. Thank you so much for sticking with me. Use it on a regular basis to help you open up your ankles and calm that foot down, especially if you are new to exercising and your body doesn't know what the heck that you're putting it through. Give it a little, pat on the head until it'll be okay. If you have any other questions or if you guys would like any more tutorials, things like that, just reach out to me. I'm more than happy to do this for you. And have a great day and a wonderful week, and I hope to see you soon.